Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to speak about the subject of, can memories be erased? Kind of like in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He had such a bad relationship that he preferred to forget completely about the love that he lost and to just live his life as if it never happened. And that was the whole premises of the company that he hired. And a lot of people were doing that stuff. And in some way, I guess he overcomes it in some way. And he's running away from the fact that he doesn't want to forget that love. And he manages. But the thing is, what would you do? Would you prefer to forget or remember? So do you want to remember only the good things of your life? Or do you want to forget the bad things so that you are never traumatized? But I do think that, for example, you need to have those bad things in your life in order to also become the person, or that actually made you into the person that you are now. So that's the thing, is if you have nothing that is bad that happens to you, then you're never going to be able to have these things such as compassion or wanting to help somebody else, or even understanding of many subjects, because sometimes you have to have lived something in order to really understand it. It's kind of like, if I didn't feel pain, if I get hurt or injured, if I never felt pain, well, I'd be able to kind of see that emotion and kind of be like, oh yeah, I kind of understand it, but I can't really relate to it. So because I can't really relate to it, I can't really go ahead and really be compassionate about the thing. But once you felt it, you kind of can relate to that person. It's kind of like, for example, for me, I'm a foreigner here living in America, and I'm from Belgium, and whenever I see somebody who speaks French, kind of like the language that I grew up with, or even Italian because I grew up with that language too, I have a tendency to go towards them and to befriend them much faster. And the reason is because you have a memory of your childhood, you have an understanding, you have a relatability, and that relatability automatically wants to make you want to speak to them and like them. And that's the thing. So, would you want to erase those memories? If I didn't have any memory of having lived in Belgium or speaking French, and I just thought, oh, here, I am speaking English, and I've lived here all my life, but I don't really remember anything before I was 18 years old, then I wouldn't have that culture, and I wouldn't have the want to be relatable to that person. And I really do think that even if there are bad things, some traumatizing things, you wouldn't want to not know them. Now, on the other hand, if, for example, you were kidnapped or molested, or you had a really bad experience, like you went to war and you have post-traumatic stress disorder, now those things are memories that are making you dysfunctional, where basically you're not able to function out of that. And because you don't function, you're not able to live. Now, if I had something like that, I'd say, okay, well, if it's something like that, maybe it's better to forget the fact that I went to war, or forget the fact that I got molested, or I went into a bad situation. So if I'm in a situation like that where I'm really completely dysfunctional, and the fact of not having that memory could easily make me functional again and at least give me a chance to life, then I would say yes. And kind of like in movies, if you see the killer, then he'll kill you but then he can actually simply erase your memory, kind of like in Men in Black, and you don't remember that there's aliens, or you don't remember the face of the killer and stuff like that. If it is going to give you life, then sure, I would love to forget that. But can memories be erased? Because that's the question. I think they can. The thing is that whatever you remember in your head, it's always a memory that's taken from the eye of nostalgia. It's the memory that even an experience that was okay, especially like stuff that happened in your childhood, you tend to basically love the things that happened in your childhood because you look at them with fondness and nostalgia. And when you have that, then you basically romanticize it. The game you played, the time you spent, the super long summers you had, or breaks, or the weekends, or playing outside with other kids, or just the first school you went to, and those days. Because when you're a kid, time is starting out for you, and when time is starting out for you, you don't have this knowledge of being 30 years old. For you, that's wow, that's archaic, that's crazy, that's a really long time. But yeah, I think that as a kid, time just blurs, and the memories are basically fond. Everything's fond. Everything you did as a kid, even though you got sick, you might remember sometimes when you got sick, but the foods that you ate and the things that you did, you just reminisce them with fondness, basically. And yeah, that's the thing. If you reminisce these things with fondness, then of course you're gonna like it. But then the memory has been altered, it has been changed. It's not what you remembered, really. It's basically your imagination that kind of recreated whatever you wanted to feel out of it. And I do feel that with conversations, with old memories and all that stuff, a lot of times your brain tends to remember what it wants to remember and forget what it wants to forget. And then with time, it just changes and changes and changes. And if you really go back to that time, if you could go back in time and be in that place, you'd see that it's just like a normal day. So the good days, the happy days, they're always here. They're here at this moment, because that's all you have as a human being. So it's up to you to acknowledge that and to kind of understand and make whatever moment you have happy. Because if you just reminisce in the past, or have longings for those things, or the people you've lost, or family members you've lost, or friends, or things that you've lost, such as becoming older and maybe some athletic things that you could do that now you can't do and stuff like that, it's not good. Because in the end, you just have now. So don't think so much about the memories. The memories have already made what you are now. You are already the product of that. And whatever will be erased in your head, it's going to get erased or fantasized or nostalgia. So you're just going to have it without you forcing yourself. And if you've had a traumatic PTSD experience or whatever, then hopefully your brain can erase it. And that's, I think, where you can go to hypnotherapy and a lot of different therapists and meditation and all that stuff, in order to not dwell so much on that moment, and to realize that you're still alive, and that it's not easy, it's sometimes impossible, but at least the meditation and not thinking so much about it will at least help you somehow, I think. Okay, well, that's it. That's all I have to say on the subject. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.